What's up, everybody? It's Jeremy here. I'm Oceanbound and I'm going to Pleasure Bay. I'm pretty darn stoked, and let me tell you why. This week I received from my wing dealer Phil at kitesite.net a brand new 4.5 meter boomed Duotone Float wing. I haven't bought a wing in over a year. In fact, I mean, the only wing that I bought last year was a PPC M1, and technically I paid for that in December of 2023. So last year I really didn't buy any wings. I'm in need of at least two, and I'm thinking like a 3.5 and then something that's like in the 4.5 or 5 meter varietal. Well, fast forward to basically right now. I'm so excited to have this float. Hold on a second. Back up, just doesn't really work so good. Okay, so I'm just so down with this float. The idea of it. I've wanted a boomed wave wing basically since I would say like September. I've had this idea in my head. So fast forward to now, these floats came out. They're all about the lightness, drift, super stable, and it's got a boom. I say shaboom, chicka rocka, chicka boom. So stoked, oh yeah. So I was out yesterday, but yesterday was a pretty crazy day. We're talking, you know, blowing like 27, gusting up above the 40s, and it was from the west, so it was just a terrible wind direction. I hated it. It was just a gnarly day to try that float, but the one thing I'm totally stoked about that float, even though it's a 4.5, because it's got that boom, it was so easy to depower. I could crank up wind with that thing kind of totally depowered when it's blowing 40, and I'm like, I was cool. So I'm just so stoked to have this thing in my quiver. So today the wind is a little lighter. I just checked, it's around 20 west-southwest, so I'm gonna be in this little area of the bay. It should be pretty cool. I did ride the DWP yesterday with the 220 tail, and that was a little weird, but cool. So I'm either gonna ride the 930 with a 180 stab, or I'm gonna ride the 880 with like the 120 stab. We'll figure it out. I gotta assess the situation. But yeah, there's one other winger on the water. Someone else is here setting up. Should be a pretty good day. I got like an hour or two to kill. It's like 47 degrees. Like probably the warmest day that I've winged in like months, I would say. So I'm totally stoked about that. It's gonna be righteous. Let's flip this around, get everything set up, and hit the water. Here we go. Oh yeah, no way. That's awesome. I mean, that's a good thing. Yeah. So Brad was winging? Awesome. I went to 180 today. Put some shim. All right, here we go. If you buy a float, you need to get yourself, if you don't have an adapter for a pump, and you need to get yourself a leash. And if you gotta get yourself a leash, I highly recommend Kāohi leashes. They're the best. Oh, this thing is nice. So stoked to ride it. Jeez. It's like a long walk in. The water's so clear this time of year. It's so cool to see all this crap that I'm stepping on. In the middle of the summer, you're like, what is all this razor sharp stuff? This time of year, you're like, oh, it's just clamshells. It's not needles. taking the red shim out. What was I thinking? I was like, I'm gonna have fun with this red shim. But it definitely made it feel like I needed definitely to move the mast track forward. But you can see I don't have that much more room. So we'll start first by taking out a shim. And then before I like switch everything in the mast track, if that doesn't feel right, I'm gonna put the 140 dart on. I kind of have a feeling I'm gonna put the dart on anyway. Round 2. Actually, this is something I wanted to do. It's a good day to do it. Alright, so I'm going to switch to the 140 tail. Why not? $140 time. Kind of crazy to say this. Kind of prefer the 140. One-handed dive. 140 is definitely a better pumper. It's just more oomph in the pump and that back foot. I'm stoked. Sick. It's the little things. It's the simple things. And can I just say that, like, after not having this for a couple months, it's so nice to have it back. While we were out on the water, the DCR stopped by and brought our flags back. It's so, like, nice to have that flag back. I mean, when I'm out on that water and I can see what direction the wind's coming in and kind of the intensity, it's so much safer than just not knowing that. It's like the season starting. So about today and yesterday, I mean, I'm really stoked on this new float wing. There's nothing about it I dislike. For a 4.5, I mean, both days I was basically had plenty of power. You know, it was good. I'm just getting used to it. And then the surprise thing about today, and I didn't think I was gonna get into, I wanted to do this recently and I just ended up doing it. So I put the 120 stab on, and sometimes I do things very calculated and sometimes I do things very haphazardly. And today I put the 120 stab on with that 880, and I put a red shim on. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna throw the red shim on. And that was silly. I just kept nosing down. It just felt like, wait, it wasn't far enough forward. Took the red shim off, back to feeling normal. And the 120 is great. It's nice and it's loosey-goosey, it's fast and it's cool. But then I just, for science, I took that off and I put the 140 dart stab on. You know, a month or two ago when I first got that 120, I basically said the 140 was dead to me. Why would I take the 140 out? I'm gonna kind of go back and say that, like, the 120 is good, but maybe it's lost a little bit of its like shininess, because like I went back out on that 140. I rode the 140 with no shim, by the way. I didn't feel like it got me any slower, and it just gave me a little bit more stability, and it certainly pumped better. I felt like the pump and the glide were better. That's like, duh, like very intuitive. So it's like, it makes sense that I felt all of that, but it was nice to figure that out today in person, you know, do some things back to back. It's like I figured that out in my mind, and now I can move on to the next thing. So yeah, awesome day. Loving the float, loving the fact I got to try those stabs. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you want to see some more of my videos and you haven't done so already, you can always click that subscribe button, or not. Drop me a comment, let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you've tried a float. I'd love to know if you guys have tried 120s and 140s back to back, and if you could comment on them, definitely let me know. And with that, I just hope all of you guys are doing well out there. I'll see you soon on the flip, and I wish you all an awesome day. Later.